Tread Boldly with Father Nathan Cromly.
This is Tread Boldly, Leadership Lessons from the Saints with Father Nathan Cromly.
My name is Father Cromly. I'm the president of the St. John Institute, and this is Tread Boldly, Leadership Lessons from the Saints. I want you to imagine the scene that you've heard many times. It's depicted for us clearly in 1 Samuel chapter 17. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and encamped in the valley of Elah and drew up in a line of battle against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, with a valley between them. And there came from the camp of the Philistines a champion named Goliath of Gath. Now this person, of course, is someone we all know from our childhood. Goliath, the impossible giant, who comes to confront King David and Israel. But he doesn't come to confront King David first. In fact, he comes to first confront King Saul, challenging him and his men every day and every night for 40 days and 40 nights with taunts and blasphemies, saying that they could not find the strength to fight him, let alone defeat him. And indeed, they could not. It took a young man named David to find the courage to finally stand up and face this giant in one-on-one combat. In verse 10, we read, "And the Philistines said, I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. I think this is a very important line, because it shows the context in which David was called to summon his courage and dare this great deed that he did in the name of God, namely confronting and slaying the Philistine. It was done at a time when even the great men of his own country were afraid. This means that sometimes leadership and the great deeds that we're called to do for God are done at times when no one expects them. Most of us would rather live a leadership that comes in ease, when folks recognize us, when things are set up for our success. But here with David, it's just the contrary. The men of his day wouldn't even fight, let alone win. And it took great courage to face them, almost more courage to face them than it did to face the Philistine. We read, for example, in verse 25, the men of Israel said, "Have you seen this man who has come up, namely Goliath? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Now when Eliab, David's eldest brother, heard when he spoke this to the men, his anger was kindled against David, and he said, "Why have you come down, and with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your presumption and the evil of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle." An amazing moment here, one that we don't often underscore. David had to first overcome internal division and opposition from those who were closest to him before he could even face the Philistine who was threatening the country. I think this is so important because, of course, David will face this great foe and run towards him with a sling, slinging a stone that will strike the Philistine in the forehead and bring him to his utter destruction. But before he does that, David has to overcome those who doubt him from the inside, those who know him and, knowing him, don't think he is worthy of the fight that he is about to undergo. How many times in the lives of heroes has this same kind of story played itself out? Those who are closest to us sometimes see us within the worst light. Those who are closest to us sometimes don't believe in the greatness that we can achieve. Even the kin of Jesus, his cousins, did not believe in him. It says so in John chapter 7. And neither did many people in Israel believe that David could do what he did. Sometimes we need to tread boldly. We need to put our confidence in the God who called us, put our hand to the plow, and do what is in front of us to do, regardless of whether or not we have the support of those who are nearest and dearest to us. After all, great leadership isn't firstly a response to the call of those who believe in us and want us. Rather, great leadership is a response to the God who summons us and calls us to lead.
Wow.